Hey everybody, I'm Janelle from YarnNecklaces, and you're probably wondering why I'm all dressed up. Well, I wanted to showcase this ladder yarn scarf because this is what I'm going to show you how to crochet today. I tried to crochet the whole scarf with just one skein of ladder yarn, and I got the whole scarf crocheted, but then when I got to the fringe, I finished one side and not the other. So one thing you could do if you just want to use just one ball, just make your scarf just a little bit skinnier so you just kind of cut off one stitch at the end. And it won't make too much of a difference. It'll just be just a tiny bit skinnier. And I'll show you how to do that when we get started. And when I was coming up with the pattern, I wanted to make it as easy as possible because I know ladder yarn can be a little bit difficult to work with. So you're only going to need a few things to make this scarf. Basically just one skein of ladder yarn. If you want it as thick as mine, you'll need probably two, and you'll just use a little bit on the second one. And then a crochet hook. I'm using a size K, which is a 10.5, and also a scissors. And you want to get like a ruler or yardstick. I recommend a yardstick if you have it. And that way you'll be able to measure out things we need to measure out. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. First thing you want to do is measure out 48 inches of ladder yarn. At that point, we're just going to double it up, and then we're going to fold it at the end. So it's 3 strands. Now you're ready to do your slip knot. And you want to make it a little bit looser than what your hook is. If you need to, use a little bit bigger hook. But we're going to chain 10 loosely. So this is how I do it loosely. When you chain, you just pull it up just a little bit. So you can see it's not real tight around my crochet hook. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And you'll have some left over, that's fine. And then you want to leave a little bit of a tail and just cut it. You can set that extra yarn aside somewhere. If you need to, use it for fringe later. Or pull this tail through, but don't pull this tight because you're going to use this in a minute. So this is what you have right now. Now we're going to just take one strand and make a slip knot. Then you're going to crochet like normal. You don't need to make it loose or anything. So you're going to take your chain that you just made, and we're going to crochet into this. So start at one end, and it doesn't really matter too much where you put your hook, but try to keep it straight so that you're crocheting the right amount of stitches. So the first one we're going to do is just a single crochet. Then we're going to chain 4 chains. Try to keep this straight so that way you can see where the V's are. You got a V here and a V here. So we're just going to do a double crochet into that next V. Right here. And it's not super important where you put your hook, but you want to try and get 10 double crochets all the way across. Well, if you're including this as a double crochet. So this counts as 1. So we did our double crochet, we chained 1, now we're going to double crochet into this next stitch, and chain 1 again, and just go across like that. So you can see as you go, you have these little spaces right here. So this is what's going to make it easy for us as we go. So this is probably the hardest part you have to do. So if you're struggling with this, don't worry, it gets easier. So I think I did all 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 9, so I need to do one more. Like I said, it doesn't matter too much where you put your hook. Just try and space them out evenly. All right, so we got through that. Now is the easy part. So from here, we're going to chain 3 and turn, And we're just going to crochet into each of these spaces when we do our double crochet. So let's do a double crochet into this space. Chain 1 and double crochet into that next space here. Chain 1 again, and you're just going to do that all the way across into each space. So I just did my double crochet into that last opening there, and then I'm going to chain 3 and turn it again. So as long as you're crocheting into each opening, it's going to keep the right amount of stitches for you. So that way you don't even have to count, you don't have to think, you just have to crochet and enjoy yourself. So go ahead and turn on the TV and binge your favorite Netflix show. I didn't mention earlier, but this pattern can be done with any type of yarn, so you don't have to use ladder yarn. You could use just regular worsted weight yarn and it'll make it really pretty. Or I think it'll look really pretty with this Ice Yarn's Rockstar yarn. It's got that nice shine to it. But if you do want to try the ladder yarn, I sell about 60 different colors on my website. It's YarnNecklaces.com, so go ahead and check that out. I also have lots of crochet patterns with the ladder yarn and lots of tutorials here on my channel too. And just be mindful at the end, this is also an opening. So we do want to do our double crochet in there also. And then we'll chain 3 again and turn. So I'll let you keep going from here, and I'll come back when I have crocheted about 5 feet. As I go, I like to stretch it out a little bit. So right now it's a little too skinny to stretch, but just kind of pull it a little bit as you go, because you'll want it 5 feet after being stretched. And that way you'll be able to do it with just 1 ball of yarn. But if you do want the fringe at the end, keep in mind you'll need 2 balls, or you'll want to just do 9 chains and then go from there instead of 10. So I'll see you back in a little bit. I'm just finishing up that last double crochet on the end. And I'm going to stretch it out, make sure everything is stretched out real good. And check my measurement, should be 5 feet. So I'm going to need to cut my end here. And then I'm just going to pull my crochet hook so this goes through. And then just pull it tight. Do you remember how when we started we did that crochet chain with 3 strands? So we're going to use 3 strands again and just do a single crochet across here. You'll want to measure out 48 inches and then fold that in half and then fold it in half again. And that'll get you your 3 strands. Now you want to take it and do a slip knot. And then we're going to start on the same end that we just finished off on. And just do some single crochets across here. And we're just going to use that space that we've been working with. Each little space you're going to do 1 single crochet. So let's start here. And you also want to do this loosely, because if you remember we have a double crochet and a chain here. You are using 3 strands, so it's a little bit thicker, but just crochet it a little bit looser so that way it doesn't like bunch up like this. So to make it a little looser, I'm just going to pull up a little bit on it after I do that single crochet. And if you really need to, you can use a larger crochet hook. And that creates a nice finished edge for us. So if you don't want to do fringe on the ends, then you can just finish off right here. What I would do is just pull this out a little bit and cut it here, and then just tie a little knot on the end. And then with this one, you can actually since you have 3 strands, you can just take the folded strand like this and these 2 ends, because you have the one from your double crochets and then also the one from the row you just did, and then you can just tie those in a knot like this. But if you do want to do some fringe, let me keep going and I'll show you how to do it. So I'm going to do 1 chain here, and then we're going to cut this. I cut it kind of long because I might just add that in with my fringe. Let's pull it through and then just pull this tight. To do the fringe, I'm just going to measure out about 8 inches and then fold it in half. And then I'm going to go back and forth like this. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to cut it right here on the end. I'm going to use my crochet hook to help me pull it through here. So it doesn't really matter what end you start at. I'm not going to use this open space here. I'm actually going to use the chain part. It might be a little bit trickier to find, but I think that'll work better. So it's on the very end. And I think it'll make the fringe stay a little bit better because you'll be able to make the knot tighter. You kind of see where the V's are right here. This one and this one. So I'm going to go underneath those. And if you don't get it exactly, it'll be fine. You won't even be able to tell. And then take my hook and go about the middle of these strands. Hook that on there and pull through. Not all the way. You just want to make enough room for you to be able to pull the strands through here. And actually, I'm even going to grab those ending tails here that we just finished off that last single crochet row. So that way it all flows together. So I'm going to just yarn over with all of these strands and pull them through. So, and just be careful when you're doing that. You don't want to get stuck on one strand because it'll kind of mess things up. And then you can just pull it tight, trying to figure out where this one came from. I just want that one to go tight. There it is. And that's how you do the fringe. So you'll just do fringe in each of these little spots here, right under the V's. So I believe you'll have 9 spots to do fringe on each side. And then even on this side, you can just, when you pull through, pull this side through also, and then it'll all be together. And that's how it looks when you're done with the fringe. But what we want to do is cut off these loops. So I'm going to use a sharp scissors to just trim it off like right about here or so, just so we can cut off all these loops. And it's probably going to make a big mess. So if you want, you can do it over a trash can. But I'll do it right here so you can see what I'm doing. And then you can trim it to make it even if necessary. I think I missed one loop right here. I'm just going to cut it like that. So that's how it's turned out. And then you just want to do the other side, do the same thing. Make sure these are pulled tight. And then you can insert your fringe like right in these little openings here. And then I'm going to take it the same way, pull it through. I want to grab these ends on here and put it together with the rest of the fringe. Pull it open just a little bit. Yarn over, try that again, yarn over, and pull it all the way through. And tighten it up. It's a little bit harder to see where to put your fringe on this side, so if you want to just space it out and have about 9 sections of fringe, you can do it that way. So maybe do 1 on this side, and then 1 in the middle, and then do 3 here, 3 here. If you like this video, you're going to love the next one I picked out up here in the corner. And I just love it if you give me a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel and helps my video get seen by more crocheters just like you. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.